Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I've had a look at tomorrow's racing, and there's quite a few horses that I like, or there's some horses that I like across the different races. What have we got tomorrow? 3, 6, 7 meetings, 49, 51 races that I've been through as many of them as I can, trying to find what I think are the best bets of the day, and I've come up with a few at Newcastle and at the Curragh. So let's start off looking at the 135 at Newcastle, a 6 furlong handicap. And there's a couple in this race that you can see I've highlighted that I do like for this. We'll start off with the highest alphabetically. Remember, this is not ratings order. The ratings are for premium and pro members only. As you're also free members watching this, I can't show you the ratings. But starting off looking at King's Lynn. I really like this horse, and I think he's now down to a mark that he can start to get very, very competitive off. He actually finished second 3 runs ago off 94. Callum took 3 off. So he was running off 91. He's now down to 92. And I think this is, he's going to get very, very close soon to winning a race. 2 runs ago at Newcastle, over 6. Finished third off 94, beaten by Misty Grey and Prince of Zenda. I felt that was a really good effort, finishing as close as the horse did. Wasn't the best of way. I think the front 2 were just too good that day, but I don't really think there's that much to be scared of here. Obviously, Misty Grey has come out and won since, off a mark of 104, beating our Mr. Wagyu. So that kind of franked that form. Prince of Zenda was expected to go close, went off 15-2. Didn't particularly frank that form at Chester, but still ran okay. And I think the form of that 6 furlong race here is a good 6 furlong race. As I've said, now down another couple of pounds from 94 to 92. He's got everything in his favour. I think he's going to run a really big race here. You can kind of forgive him his last amount effort even, when he was only 4th off 94. But again, it was 4th off 94. It was over 5 furlong. The horse doesn't want 5. The horse needs 6. Gets everything in his favour here. I think he's going to run a really big race. And he's currently available at 8-1. He is getting supported. So if you do like that and you do want to jump on the 8s, I would get on there quickly. And the second horse that I'm backing her because I don't want her to win when we're not on her. And that is Sophia Starlight. I really like this horse. I think she is very good. And I think she's better than a handicap mark. And I've been waiting for her to run in a handicap. Mainly through her effort behind Funny Story. We obviously had a winner at Royal Ascot using this form line with Unequal Love, winning a handicap, having finished 4th behind Funny Story, Sophia Starlight and Silent Words. Now, Sophia Starlight, since that second, has stayed in listed class. Listed, I'm just looking at her last 4 races. Listed, and listed. And she's done alright in a couple of them. She finished 4th behind A Day in Devon, who obviously come out and won again since. She finished 2nd, not beaten far by Electric Storm, at Haydock. Back into handicap company. I think that's key to her. She's been meddling around the 95, 94 handicap mark, and that's kind of the mark that I'm more than happy to back her at. It was all about, as soon as she came back into handicap company, that I was keeping an eye out for her, because I do think she's better than this handicap mark. So I can't not back her. I would have preferred to have seen her on the turf, particularly being saved for something like Goodwood or Ripon for the Greats and Wilfred. And it might be that they are trying to get the horse better handicapped for the turf, and hoping that the handicapper even adjusts her handicap mark after running on the all-weather. But I can't not back her on the basis that if she does run to the level that I think she can, I think she can go very close here. And because of that, she is currently available at 16s, and I'm quite happy with that. I've got to back her. It might not work. If it doesn't, hopefully King's Lynn has won the race for us instead. Moving on to the 204, the Group 3 at Newcastle. And yeah, I can't get away from Kinross again. I liked Kinross last week at Royal Ascot on the basis that I felt it was a very good Group 2 horse running in a weak Group 1. Well, I still think he's a very good Group 2 horse now running in a Group 3. So I think it's even easier than, that Group 1 that was won by Cardham, who had won it the year before. Kind of something we missed there in the fact that he'd already won a Group 1, and I said it was a really weak Group 1. But yeah, I think this horse, Kinross, I think he's going to take all of the beating here. I really do. I think he is as I said, I think he's a Group 2 horse now running in a Group 3 race rather than a Group 1. So Kinross is one of my strong fancies for tomorrow, and he is currently available at, let's have a look, 7-2. I think that's a great price about him. I think a lot of these are handicappers behind. Pretty much all of them are handicappers to behind. Spycatcher, yeah, I think he's a handicapper that's been running in decent moderate group races, but not to the level of Kinross. So yeah, he's one of my strong ones for tomorrow, I feel. We move on to the 235 at Newcastle, which is the Northumberland Vars, the consolation race for the Northumberland Plate. It's over 2 mile and half a furlong, and you can see who I've highlighted, and I'll explain why. Phelan. I think they've waited to come back for this race. Ran in this race last year, finished third behind La Hacienda and Mostly Sunny. Not beaten far, beaten just a length by the winner, half a length by the runner-up. If he'd got a clear run, he wins. I'm really confident of that. If he got a clear run, he would have won that race. Held up off the rail, coming down the straight. He was a few lengths off the near side rail and didn't move over to the rail quick enough. He sat there and waited, Callum, hoping for a gap. It didn't come. He eventually had to switch to the near side rail, and then when he still didn't get the clearest of runs, he was stuck behind something. I can't think who it was. It might have even been Mostly Sunny. Stuck behind that horse for a little bit, and it wasn't until he properly got the clear run that he really made rapid ground and was closing all the way to the line. I think with a clear run he would have actually beaten those two, and probably ended up in the Northumberland Plate this year. He would have obviously gone up for winning at the Vars, and they might have been able to keep him off a high enough rating that he managed to get in the Northumberland Plate. As it happens, because he didn't, I think they've kind of got him well handicapped for this race. He's £6 lower. If you watch it last year and you think he should have won, and then you take into account that he's £6 lower, and then you add in that Paul Mulrennan's riding, who is a very good jockey. Particularly, I like him at this course, to be honest. Yeah, I think Phelan is going to take all of the beating here. I really do. And you can currently get about Phelan. You can see I'm loading these as we go, so you can see that these are the current odds, not odds that I've just made up from 5 hours ago, which unfortunately some tipsters do. Phelan is available at 8-1. I'm really hopeful of a massive run for Phelan. Moving on to the 310, this is the Northumberland Plate. So this is the race that Phelan would have been trying to get into. Unfortunately, he didn't. So who do I like here? Well, I'm going to start off talking about Spirit Mixer, not Grand Providence. Spirit Mixer ran in this race a couple of years ago. Off a mark of 97, Callum took 5 off, finished second behind Trushan. Now, on the day, everyone was saying, what an amazing weight-carrying performance. I never totally understand that, how they overdo it when a horse who's carrying top weight wins a handicap. The whole point of their top weight is because they are the best horse in the race. On their official rating, they have to give away that weight because they're running in a handicap, and that's how many pounds they're meant to be better than the other horses. So, I feel kind of whatever horse wins a race, it's not like a super weight carrying performance. I think sometimes if they actually end up putting horses out of the handicap, it makes it even easier for them, because horses that are off a low mark that are carrying more weight than they should be. But anyway, so Spirit Mixer went off 10-1 that day, finished second, off 97, jockey took 5 off, beaten by Trushan. This year, he gets to run off 91. So he's either £6 lower, if you want to go on official marks, or he's a pound lower, based on that the Callum took a useful 5 off that day. He hasn't been back to Newcastle since, and yet he's right down here at 28 to 1. He's 28 to 1. He was 10 to 1 when he ran in it a few years ago. And I don't think his form it's not been amazing, but at least last time out he showed a bit of form when finishing third behind Tenerife Sunshine and Vino Vitrix. He if he'd finished 9th or 10th again, you'd start to think, okay, maybe he's not come back to anywhere near the sort of level he was, because he missed a whole year, or he missed nearly a whole year after finishing 7th in the Queen's Cup behind Wise Eagle. He then didn't run for 328 days, and it might be that he's just needed these runs to get him really fit. Last time out was nearly there, off 91 at Goodwood. They've got him spot on for this year, for back to this race. As I said, if you take his second half a length defeat by Trushan, literally, he's going to go very close here, and I think he's a great price at 33 to 1. 28 to 1, sorry. The second horse that I do like in this race is Andrew Balding's other horse, and that's Grand Providence. So, looked very progressive, she did last year. Her only disappointing run came in the Cesarewitch when she was beaten 20 lengths by the Shunter, finished mid-division 16th for 31 that day. This season she returned. She ran okay at Newbury on her return, but I'm more than happy to forgive a moderate return sort of thing. And then she ran, I thought, a good race in the Chester Cup. Finished 5th. Obviously, we had the winner with Zoffy. Finished 5th behind the right horses. Zoffy, Emin, Zandabad, Aztec Empire. So Zandabad was one of those Tony Martin horses that was very well handicapped. Emin loved Chester. Zoffy had run well at Chester before, and Franknat proved that was a proper running. Aztec Empire came into it, went off the 4 to 1 favourite, having been really well supported that day. So I think the right horses beat Grand Providence, and he kind of demonstrated that he maybe needed a little bit of a stronger ride, and maybe Hayley wasn't able to give that, or they're still learning about her. I'm hoping that they get to work quite early, because she will just keep trying towards the end of the race. Down that final straight, she might be off the bridle earlier than some of her rivals, but I think she's just going to keep running. And if David's got her really prominent at this point, even hitting the front early and saying, catch me or run me down if you can, I think that would be a good idea for Grand Providence, and I think she is going to run a really big race here. She's currently available at 8s and 9s. 8s. Yeah, 8s is available for Grand Providence. I think plenty to like about her chances as well. Then we move to the Curragh. And starting off looking at the Pretty Polly, which is a Group 1. And for me, it's only out of 2. I think they are the front 2 in the market. Let's just load up the market. Where is it? Chester 330. They are the front 2 in the market, and you can see that I do like the favourite in this race, Blue Stocking. So I feel Emily Upjohn has got to the stage in her career that she does need the full 1.5 miles. And to be fair, her efforts recently haven't been as good as they could have been. Granted, she was 5th in a Group 1 and then 4th in a Group 1. I just feel she should have done a little bit more at Epsom when sent off the 7 to 4 favourite, whereas Blue Stocking, I think, is going the right way. Emily Upjohn might be slightly regressing. I think Blue Stocking is going the right way. She was very unfortunate last season. Things didn't quite go to plan multiple times, including when finishing 3rd in the Group 2 Ribblesdale at Royal Ascot. She then finished 2nd in an Oaks. She finished 4th in the Yorkshire Oaks, 2nd in a listed race at Chester, before returning and finishing 2nd in a Group 1 at Ascot behind Poptronic. I think it was all really good form, just kept finding one too good. Now, on her return, she looked very, very good in the Middleton, the Fillies Group 2 at York. I thought it was a much improved performance on even what she'd done last season. She comfortably beat Free Wind and Infinite Cosmos. That, for me, was really strong form. It was a really impressive performance, won by 6 lengths. And I think it demonstrated that she is properly a Group 1 filly. I think being that she's on the upgrade, and I think Emily Upjohn might be slightly on the downgrade, I'm very happy with Blue Stocking to beat Emily Upjohn here. And the 7-4 does look at a nice price about Blue Stocking. I think that's fair. I think she might go off shorter than that. Moving on to the 405. This is one I do want to talk about because I am quite keen on one here. I think this is actually my last one. It is indeed. I will just be waiting for the price. But the horse that I'm really looking forward to, and I hope we can get a price. What's the forecast? The forecast is 3s. That is a bit short, but I do think she will win. It's Bialystok for Willie Mullins and Miss Townend. Was in the process of running a really big race in the 2-mile handicap hurdle when falling. When did she fall? She fell at the last. I thought she was going to go close that day. She's rated 140 on the flat, over hurdles, sorry. She's only rated 94 on the flat. She's actually running off 92, sorry. I think her form is good enough to win this. She's running over the right distance in the fact that it's 1 mile and 2 when she's got some good form over hurdles, over 2 mile. I think that's the perfect difference between hurdles and flat form. She has got some decent form on the flat. She's won a conditions race. She finished second at Saint-Cloud before moving to Willie Mullins, over 1 mile and 2. Everything is right for her to run a really big race. Miss Townend rides really well in these types of races, and she should be. Yeah, I think she's going to take all of the beating here. I think she's even still improving, and she's one I really like in this Ladies Derby handicap at the Curragh. If you can get anything about 5-2, 3-1, I think that's a fair price about her. We don't currently have prices, but I will be keeping an eye out for that. So they are my selections for tomorrow. Kings Lynn and Sophia Starlight in the opening 6 furlong handicap at Newcastle. Kings Lynn, I think this is down to a handicap mark that he can win off. While Sophia Starlight I'm backing because I don't want her to win when we're not on her. She is well handicapped. I believe she's well handicapped. Now she's back in the handicap company. I would have preferred to have seen her on the turf. 204 at Newcastle. I think Kinross is a proper Group 2 horse. A really good Group 2 horse running in Group 3. I think Phalanx should have won last year off 86 in the Northumberland Vase. Runs here off 80. Grand Providence will just keep finding and keep battling in the Northumberland Plate, while Spirit Mixer is very well handicapped on his second a couple of years ago. Blue Stocking, I think, is progressing, whereas I think Emily Upjohn may be slightly regressing at this stage in their careers. And finally, Bialystok, wait to see the price on that, but I think she will win the Ladies' Derby. He will win the Ladies' Derby.